This video is on Hour by Duffy. Love's time's beggar, but even a single hour, bright as a dropped coin, makes love rich. We find an hour together, spend it not on flowers or wine, but the whole of the summer sky in a grass ditch. For thousands of seconds we kiss, your hair like treasure on the ground, the Midas light turning your limbs to gold. Time slows, for here we are millionaires, backhanding the night, so nothing dark will end our shining hour. No jewel hold a candle to the cuckoo spit hung from the blade of grass at your ear. No chandelier or spotlight see you better lit than here. Now, time hates love, wants love poor, but love spins gold, gold, gold from straw. So what's it all about? It's a poem that describes an hour spent between the narrator and her lover, and time is suggested as the enemy of love. Hour is about capturing and appreciating moments so that time nearly seems to stand still. The poem's form is a Shakespearean sonnet, but it doesn't have a conventional number of syllables in each line. You'd normally expect Shakespearean sonnets to have 10 syllables, 10 beats in each line to create a kind of heartbeat rhythm of iambic pentameter. This poem does have 14 lines, and it does have the same rhyme scheme. So it has 3 quatrains, which is a group of 4 lines together, and they have alternate rhyming lines, so A, B, A, B. For 3 quatrains, and then it ends with a rhyming couplet. So the metaphor and the personification of love is time's beggar suggests that love is dependent on time, and that even a single hour makes love rich. So the amount of time you spend with your loved one is treasured and precious. Bright as a dropped coin suggests a simile with a throwaway coin tossed towards a beggar, and it could also symbolise that love is precious. It's bright, and you're comparing it to wealth. The fact they say we find an hour together does suggest they have to search for it. So is there a reason that they can't spend any more than an hour together? Whether it's because they are not supposed to be together, or whether it's because they're just so busy, or whether this is just focusing on an hour where they really do have quality time together compared to normal everyday lives with everything going on. Whatever the reason, whenever they do find that hour together, they don't spend it on conventional things like flowers and wine, which are traditional images that you would associate with dating. So she seems to reject the traditional dates and the things that require money, and time is seen as the more precious commodity, the more precious thing for the relationship. So they spend it instead on the whole of the summer sky, and the word whole really seems to suggest a sense of ownership, a sense of that you have the whole thing, you have everything. A sense of richness and a sense of space also. However, a grass ditch is not glamorous or exotic. Is this a romantic and unconventional date, or is it unromantic and lazy? The sibilants in this line, which is the repeated S sounds, so summer sky and grass ditch, they suggest a soothing, gentle atmosphere. In the second quatrain, she says thousands of seconds, and this shows that every second is counted, and this makes the time seem to last longer. The hair is like treasure on the ground, and that's a simile suggesting how precious the relationship is and how precious the lover is to her. The Midas light could be suggesting 2 things. It could be referring to a golden sunset, but it's also referring to the legend of King Midas, and what happened was that everything he touched turned to gold. And now, while that may seem like a positive thing on the surface, there is a kind of connotation that wouldn't actually be a desirable thing because of the consequences it would have on the way that you could live your life. And if everything is golden, then nothing appears to be precious anymore. Time slows, for here we are millionaires. So they're talking about the effect of time and how spending time with the other person is a really precious thing. They're measuring value in time, not in wealth. And they're backhanding the night. So this suggests they're trying to push time back. And it's a metaphor they'd like to spend more time together, and they're offering night a bribe to stay away. However, the fact that night is going to come is inevitable. They're not going to change it. Would this symbolise the end of the relationship? Are they trying to put something off that is definitely going to happen? So nothing dark will end our shining hour. These 2 stanzas join together, and the enjambment, which is where you carry the line break over, causes a break in the flow of the poem, and this happens at the end of this stanza as well. And this could symbolise the stopping or slowing of time. It could also suggest that they're running out of time, and therefore the breaks aren't needed and they have to just keep going. shining out again, calls into question, why do they only have an hour together? If they are together in a relationship, then you would expect them to have more time. And so that's an interesting question to try and figure out your own interpretation of. She appreciates the beauty of nature and her lover, even in Cuckoo Spit. So Cuckoo Spit is produced by bugs, and there's a picture of it on the beginning slide, the title slide, and it looks like someone spat onto a piece of grass. And she sees the beauty in even the small things, and says that even a jewel wouldn't look as precious. So it's a beautiful and natural image. And this is the final couplet, with the enjambment suggesting that time is running out and there's no time for pauses. There's a real focus on living in the moment, and that's emphasised by the single word sentence, now. It brings attention to that moment. You've got the repetition of the same idea that was found in the opening line about love's time's beggar. Now says time hates love, wants love poor. So again, you've got the imagery of wealth there. But love spins gold, gold, gold from the straw. Now this could be referring to the idea that love has the ability to create riches from nothing. But it could also be alluding to the fairy tale of Rumpelstiltskin, and it calls into question whether this taints the ending slightly. So in the fairy tale story, a miller tells the king that his daughter can spin gold from straw, and when she's asked to prove this, she ends up getting help from a small mysterious man. However, this backfires because the king then wants her to turn a bigger ream of straw into gold, and it becomes another lie that she has to sustain. Eventually, after the third night of even a bigger room of straw, with the same help from the little mysterious man, the king decides to marry her. And there's a lot of bargaining and a lot of corruption and a lot of trying to catch one another out between the mysterious man, who turns out to be Rumpelstiltskin, and the miller's daughter. So he demands her firstborn child and then takes pity on her and says that he will not do this as long as she learns his name. And it's suggesting that relationships could be built on a lie, so the king still believes that the miller's daughter can spin gold from a straw. And so I do think this kind of taints the ending slightly, with the allusion to Rumpelstiltskin. But that's something that, again, will need to be thought of in depth. And personal interpretation is so important that you do need to make up your own mind on all of the poems that you study for GCSE and beyond.